Hello everyone, welcome to my review of Transformers Legacy United Voyager class Ramjet, the holy one that I've been waiting for so long, because that is the only way I was actually gonna get the Legacy United's final wave, because everyone was available at the beginning of this year except for this guy. I don't know why it took so long for him to come out, but he's finally here. And also, this is technically just a re-release of an earlier version because of the fact that that one was very difficult to get. And that is basically how you can sum up Legacy United's final wave. It was just some stragglers that were difficult to get. But I don't mind it because I didn't get him, so now I'm able to get him fairly easily. And he is once again the Earthrise Starscream mold. A mold that I feel like I've only actually looked at on the channel once, because I never reviewed Studio Series Starscream, but I may actually review this mold again this year with the whole Thundercracker situation from the Dramatic Capture series. But overall, I don't hate the Starscream Earthrise mold. I know that there are some people who do hate the Earthrise Starscream mold. I personally don't, you know, I mean, I never really owned classic Starscream, so maybe that's why I don't really have a comparison in that sense. And I like how each of the versions that I own is different enough in a way, and that mainly meaning this guy from Dirge, or is this guy Dirge? This is Ramjet, right? Did I say it wrong at the beginning? I may have said it wrong at the beginning, I don't know, but this is Ramjet, I think, actually, because the other one is Thrust. God, these names are confusing, especially for characters that I don't really know much about. Anyway, let's pull you in closer so that we can get into more details. Here we got the cone head, which is not the same cone head as with Dirge. Dirge has a screaming open mouth. This guy's just got a closed mouth right there, but still cloning head, and just like always, does not interfere with transformation at all. Very happy about that one. But you got the white and the black combination on here with some of the yellow and the orange of the cockpit bleeding through. Very nice. You got some nice details here on the arms as well. Fan of that as well. And then down here on the legs you have the red stripe and the yellow here, and then also some black here and some more details, as you can see, with all the details which I do not know the names of, so I'm just gonna call them details. I am not an American, nor am I British, nor am I Canadian or anything like that. I am Dutch, so I do not know what it's called. But to be fair, in my non-existent defense, I also do not know what they're called in Dutch, so I have no idea. And then from the back, he looks actually pretty clean. I mean, he's got these little thingies going on, which also are different from Dirge. Big fan of that, the fact that they made that different. But he just basically has a cone on his back, and that is about it. You know, technically the cone is supposed to be his head, but still, we're not really gonna complain about that. But overall, he is a nice looking guy, and he's got the wings here on the legs, which you can actually fold out like so, or you can even fold it to the back if you want to. It's your choice how you like to have him displayed, but we're gonna fold them out for now because he doesn't need to be on the shelf right now, because the fact that if he's on the shelf, I put it forward, which sadly enough you cannot do with Dirge, and I really wish you could do that with Dirge's wings. But overall, he looks very nice. Even got thrusters down here, even though this guy is not thrust, he's Ramjet. But overall, like I said, he looks very nice. But just like any Starscream copy, he comes with a couple of null rays, baby. Look at him. Look at these null rays. Probably the same as every other one has come with so far. Just the same as always. And obviously you can plug it in here at the top of the arm if you want to. And there you go. Now he has some weapons in order to be able to fight against the Autobots whenever Megatron commands it, if I ever get my hands on that 86 Megatron that I really want. But overall, he looks great with his weapons attached. So then let's move straight into the articulation segment with the head that can rotate around. Kind of difficult for me to grab onto, and it's also a little bit tight. But also you got some up and down as well. No, a little bit of side to side as well, but that can technically do a full rotation. Then the arms can also do a full rotation, but they need to move out of the way for the little wing bits here, which you can actually move out of the way if you want to. And then you got some in and out here as well. A swivel down here, a elbow joint that is not fully double jointed, and then his hand does nothing but move up, sadly enough. Then his waist is something that he does not have, which is actually what I do not like about this mold. If there's one thing I don't like about this mold, it's the fact that there's no waist rotation, when there could have so easily have been a waist rotation. They could have probably made a cut in order to do a waist rotation down here, but they just didn't want to. But you can move this out the way in order to go forward. And you can't really go backwards much. Kind of wish this could move out of the way as well, but you can't really move backwards much. You got some in and out segments as well. You got a rotation here. You got a bend at the knee that also untabs here, but you have a bend at the knee that you can't technically do fully, but as you can see, it does untab, like I said. And then he has some ankle tilt, and his feet, they kind of move down. And the toes also, the heel also moves down, but no up movement. So you have some articulation. Put this back on here. But you have some articulation, but just not all of the articulation. So then, let's get straight into size comparison. And starting off, obviously, we're gonna grab the squad of Seekers that I have right now to compare him with. So here we have the 3 Seekers that I have, with a 4th one on, and 5th one, because I also pre-ordered Trust. But 2 more on the way. Very nice how they all look together. Same mold, same simpleness. I haven't even really messed with that guy, because I already know how he works thanks to Starscream. You know, that is actually the fun bit. But what I do like about, so these are supposed to technically, I think, be folded out as well. I don't actually know. But what I like here is the fact that, as you can see here on the back, these little wing bits here are different from each other. So I do like that. But there you go. He looks nice with the other Seekers that I own, with more on the way, obviously. So let's get them out of the way. So then here we have Ramjet together with Galvatron and also Soundwave and Shockwave. Since Starscream was preoccupied with the Dirge comparison, you know, Galvatron now joins my 2 favorite Decepticons, and he looks very good alongside them as well. So let's get them out of here. Let's pull you in closer and let's get straight into that transformation. So then let's get Ramjet transformed into his jet mode. And if you've really owned any of these Seekers from the Earthrise mold, you know exactly how this is gonna go. But starting off, what I like to do is I just like to flip up the cone, put it over Conehead Man's head himself, and tab it in there. After that, you can open up the chest, which sometimes can have a little bit of difficulty attached to it. But just rotate this back, flip out the nose cone, rotate it around, and get it into place like so. Actually, this does not go forward. This goes actually backwards. I did have a little mistake there. Then you want to open this up. Keep this black piece straight. Also lift the fist up like so. And then you want to basically get it through the hole that has been created, the black piece. And then you can just close this up and then fold it in. Do the same thing on the other side. So just lift this up as well. Get it through. Fold it down, fold it down, fold it in, and bam, there you go. 2 pieces right there done. Now we can just push this right back where it was on the beforehand scale, if it wants to work. I don't know, feels like it doesn't necessarily want to work, but whatever, you can't win them all. Look it out. There we are. Just a little bit of extra pushing in order to push that back into place like so. Afterwards, we'll keep these bad boys up, obviously, but afterwards what you want to do, you want to fold the feet and the heel up like so. Open up the bottom legs here. Double hinge this up all Combiner War style as you normally do. Close the legs back up and tab it here into place. Rotate this piece down and this piece forward in order to kind of get this whole thing. Let's see, actually, let's untab you so I can get this into place. Let me just get this into place and then tab you in all the way. There you go. Very nice. And close the legs back up like so. I don't actually think you can have the black piece over it, but nope, you cannot. So fold this down, fold this up like so. And then without any landing gear, sadly enough, here we have good old Ramjet in his, well, Ramjet mood. So here we have Ramjet in his jet mood, and overall he looks pretty cool outside of the fact that this mold has one more problem. It has a problem in robot mode with lack of waist rotation, and it has a problem here with no landing gear. Where's the landing gear? Why is there no landing gear? When I first got Starscream, I thought actually this was landing gear, because as you can see in here, if you can see it, there is some molded landing gear in there, but this is just in order to be able to just remove these things. That will need an awful noise, but anyway, it's just a hinge. That's all that this is. So yeah, that does not make me happy at all. About the fact that it's just like no landing gear. It's just something that I feel like jets should have, especially Starscream and family, obviously. But overall, he looks great, and to be honest, I have seen this jet so many times on the site that I actually bought this guy from. Because for some reason, the site that I bought this from got a bunch of these guys with production errors, which I don't even know how they were able to achieve obtaining a bunch of like production error copies of this ramjet, but I've seen this guy for so long on that site looking exactly like this, and yeah, I actually don't really know what was wrong with them, but the moment that I see that there's something wrong with a figure, I'm not gonna buy that figure, obviously. But like I said, he looks nice. So yeah, you got a nice white here on the main of the jet. You got some black here to kind of change up the color, and then obviously the red wings that I love, especially with the fact that these are two separate pieces where they just feel like one big piece. Love it. I also like the fact that these wings swoop down a little bit. It is the opposite of dirges swooping up. And then also you have the feet here at the back, kind of, and I don't know what they're supposed to be. Maybe just like some thrusters, even though you got the big thrusters right there. And also these things are on an angle as well. And on the bottom, it's just, yeah, legs right there and hands in there, because it doesn't really cover itself up necessarily much. But to be honest, these jet formers never really do. So what are you gonna do about it? You can't really do much about it. But overall, also a nice little black tip. But there's nothing really else to really talk about this figure necessarily, because it's the same thing as Dirge. So then, let us look at the weapon storage. For some reason, I put the weapons away. Here are the weapons. So obviously, with the weapon storage, you have a couple of places you can put these weapons. Starting off, you can put them in here, if you want to. You can also plug them back here, if you want to. Or, as all people do, you put them under the wings, because that's where it feels like it belongs. The guns belong, and now it feels like he is complete, boys. Look at how complete he is. He looks very complete. But he looks actually pretty good with these guns attached to being able to fire on the Autobots that are just driving away. I do not have a vehicle. I mean, I got Kit, I guess, so it could be pew, 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 pew. Go after Kit like that. But overall, yeah, he looks good with the guns attached as well. So then, since there's no real articulation, let's go straight then into this comparison. Starting off, let's bring in the squad of Seekers, baby. So here we have Ramjet with Starscream and Dirge, and he looks good alongside them, and also he looks slightly different enough, and I like the fact that he does that. Mainly it's the wings and the jet thrusters that the other two actually, oh wait, Dirge also doesn't have the big thrusters on the side. I thought he had those, but I guess he does not. But still, like I said, he looks great alongside them. So now let's go straight into the next one, which is obviously Kit from Knight Rider, baby. Yes, I will try my best to put these in every single review, but sadly enough, there will be times that I forget, especially if I haven't done it in a long time, like with Cosmos and also Cosmos and the future review called Skits. But yeah, here he is with him. So let's move you out of the way then, so we can bring in the leader Galvatron, and also my personal favorites, Shockwave and Soundwave, baby, both coming from the Dramatic Capture series, because I'm gonna get as much out of that set as I can. But here he is with them, and he looks actually like the only normal one here, to be honest. Like, he looks like the only normal one here, but still does not look bad, very much like this. So let's move these guys out of the way, pull you in closer, and then let's get into that reverse transformation. So let's get good old Ramjet back into his robotic mood. So what you want to start off with is a very simple one, and that is the legs. You want to open up these bottom pieces here and untab it from the back here in order to be able to shimmy these insides out, and then for tab slot. Do not forget to say that. Basically, you want to tap that into place. Then after that, what you want to do is you want to fold up the feet and fold up the heels and split the legs, and bam, there you go. You got a pair of legs right there. Then after that, what you want to do is you want to untap this here and move this a little bit more to the back. Untap these pieces actually in order to get it more to the back, but I forgot to do that. So now you want to fold it even further back so we can have some room to work. So what you want to start off with is you want to rotate out the arms, open up the arms like so, and then rotate it out and tab it in. Fold the hand back in, so open up this back piece here and then rotate this whole segment out, rotate it back down, fold down the fist, and then finally what you want to do is you want to untap this piece from back there, rotate it around, rotate this down and get it all situated, and then this big thing here is going to slide into the slot there. So you basically just want to rotate this forward, get that whole thing in, make sure that this tabs into place, untap this piece here, rotate it down and just slide it in between there. So just get it down like so, and then you straighten the bad boy out right now. And here we have good old Ramjet back in his robotic mood. So, Ramjet, my boy that I've been waiting on for so long. You know what? I'm actually going to fold these things forward. It will make it easier just to put it on the shelf. Anyway, what do I think about you? I like him. I think he's actually a good figure. But to be honest, I think all of these molds are good figures. Now, would I recommend him is a little bit more of a difficult story because these are Seekers. And that basically means that outside of slight retooling, they are basically the same mold. So if you already have Starscream or Skywarp or Thundercracker or Dirge or Thrust, would I recommend this guy? Well, yes, obviously, because you gotta complete the set. But if you have Starscream and Skywarp and you're like, I don't really know if I want another one, then I wouldn't really say that this one really jumps out. If you said no to Dirge, you're gonna say no to Ramjet, you're gonna say no to Thrust, you know. It's kinda like that. It is the Seeker mold. However, if you don't own any of the Seeker molds, would I recommend this guy? It depends. Because of the fact of what I've seen, okay? What I've seen actually kind of depends that. And that is the fact that I've seen this guy, Prepperino. This guy, which is the Studio Series Leader Class Starscream mold, I've seen this guy go for about the same price as this guy. And this one comes with the crown and the cape. So if you find Coronation Starscream for about Voyager class price point, I would rather recommend this one over that one. However, if you are looking for this mold and you cannot find Starscream, then I would say Ramjet is a fun figure. You know, you're just looking for a figure to own. I think he's a fun figure. So yeah, I would kind of recommend him. But like I said, with the whole remolding and especially in the Seeker era, it's a little bit difficult to recommend certain figures sometimes because it's like there's already 15 other ones. So which one of the 15 do you want, you know? But that has been my review of Transformers Legacy United Voyager class Ramjet. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on that bell and comment your thoughts on this figure. And please check out my Let's Play channel, linked in the description and at the end of the video. I upload 3 videos every day of different games, but mainly Pokemon. And I'll see you guys in the next review. Bye!